But here's the thing, you have to love what you do, and I'll give you an insight to passion. We think about passion as being excited a lot of times. Passion is way beyond that. Passion means that you're willing to suffer for something that you love. It means that you're going to be committed. It means that you show up and do that, because if you're committed, your people will too. I can promise you that leaders that lack passion will have followers that lack commitment. A couple of months ago, I was traveling here to Orlando, and I was going to give a speech for another group. And so like I did yesterday, I got on the plane, I came in, I sat down, and I found my seat. And I was seated next to a woman who I would have described as a business executive. She looked the part. She had a great business suit on. She was in business mode. She had her laptop out. She was working before we even took off. I, on the other hand, I was wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. I probably looked like I was headed to the beach or to Disney World. And I sat down, and she started the conversation, I don't know, probably the way that most people would start the conversation. She said, "Are you headed to Orlando for business or pleasure?" And I said, "I'm headed for business. How about for you?" She said, "For business." And then she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a keynote speaker. I'm speaking at an association conference tomorrow." And then she kind of looked at me from head to toe. And she asked me a very blunt question. She said, "Why in the world would anyone hire you to speak to them?" I appreciate the empathy there. That was pretty fantastic. I was kind of offended, and I thought about it for a minute, and I looked at her and I said, "'Cause I'm amazing?" And she laughed, and we had a great conversation, and I actually am speaking for her company soon. So the reason I tell you that story is we begin our conversation this morning on leadership. I want to start with a really blunt question for you. Why in the world would anyone follow you as their leader?
When Ty Bennett was 21 years old, he and his brother Scott started a business in direct sales, which they built to over $20 million in annual revenue while still in their 20s. Ty has developed over 500 sales managers globally, with sales and leadership in over 37 countries. Ty delivers customized keynotes that will make your audience feel like he's one of them. His ability to connect with the audience is based on his customized approach, interactive style, powerful insights, and incredible storytelling.
Over the last 5 years, I've conducted a survey of more than 5,000 leaders. And these leaders came from multiple different industries, from every position in those organizations, from supervisor to CEO. And honestly, I don't know if you can call it a survey. I asked one question. It was a question that fascinated me. It was a question that I was just intrigued with. The question is this: as a leader, what do you want from your people? Think about that for a minute. If you were to answer that question, as a leader, what do you want from your people? In that survey, 75% of the leaders came back with one single word. They said commitment. That's what you want, isn't it? I mean, think about it. That's what you want from your people. You want your people to be committed. You want them to show up. You want them to do their best. You want them to be engaged. You want them to give their best every single day. You want them to be committed. But here's the leadership takeaway. People are not committed to jobs. Did you know statistically, if you graduate from college this year, you will hold over 30 jobs in your lifetime? There's no way you could be committed to jobs. I mean, there's just too many of them. And the truth is, people aren't committed to companies. What actually drives commitment is leadership, because people are committed to people. It is people and relationships that naturally engender trust, that build accountability, and ultimately commitment. And so if you and I truly want to create commitment, we need to lead in a way that fosters that natural response. You see, the old adage said that leadership was based on title, position, and authority. But that's not true in today's world. In today's world, partnership is the new leadership. And while it might sound like a cliche phrase, a clever saying that I came up with, I can promise you that partnership is the new leadership is not just a unique idea. It is the actual approach of the most relevant, the most effective, the most influential leaders in today's world. As I've studied it in multiple industries, I have seen results over and over and over again. Partnership-based leadership is built in genuine relationships, influential relationships that you build with your people. Think about it. As leaders, you're in the people business, right? Leadership begins and ends with people. And so your ability to build those relationships, it has to go beyond command and control. If you are in the people business, you have to be able to build amazing relationships with your people, because if culture drives business, then the relationships that you build will dramatically affect, influence, and shape the culture within your organization. I want you to remember this. You can love people without leading them, but you cannot lead people without loving them.
My message will inspire your audience, but more importantly, it will change your audience. They will leave a more influential leader than when they walked in.